Hello, welcome to J&K Go Global. This is
Joshua.
And I'm Kat. Thank you so much for stopping by our channel. Once again, we appreciate it. We are appreciating the new subscribers that have joined our channel, and we hope that you will comment and share if there's things that you have questions about once we've completed the video and you're watching it. Hopefully, if you have any questions, you'll comment. So what are we talking about today?
We're talking about our thoughts upon arrival in Phnom Penh, Cambodia. And I got here first, so I think I'll talk about my experience or my perspective first.
Okay.
And I'll try to make it quick because I think I touched on it in the last video. And by the way, I'm wearing my laundry day outfit today. Sorry about that. And it's not even laundry day, so I don't know. Don't ask. I think I mentioned in the last video, in the last episode, I came to Siem Reap first, my first trip to Cambodia. And sorry, I have a little bit of a frog in my throat today, so I'm just gonna plow ahead, sorry. But I came to Siem Reap first. I was there for 4 weeks, and then I had to leave for visa reasons, and then I came back in straight to Phnom Penh from Kuala Lumpur, Malaysia. And I had been warned that Phnom Penh was like this madhouse and that you can only last like two days at the most, you know. But I mean, I've lived in like Los Angeles, Washington D.C., San Francisco,
New Mexico,
lots of places and cities where I figured if I could survive in those cities, I could probably survive in Phnom Penh. And Cambodian people, and they're amazing. Even though some of the warnings were given before I came to Cambodia at all when I was in Vietnam. But anyway, I'll try to make it fast. And again, sorry for the frog in my throat. I don't know what to do, but I drank plenty of water. I don't know.
Yeah, we're trying to do a 10-minute thing, y'all. I don't know.
Yeah, so I'll try to make it super fast. But when I arrived, I immediately liked it. The airport's amazing. The bus ride into the city was really amazing. Like, my impression of the people was very good, very positive. The food right off the bat was very good. The architecture was so incredible that it made me emotional. I had like an emotional reaction. Okay, sorry. Hopefully you can hear me better. I was told that the humidity in Cambodia can affect your voice, and something's affecting my voice, but I'm doing a little bit better. But my first impressions were like all positive. I was already accustomed to the tropical heat of Southeast Asia, so that was no problem. Just everything about it, like again, the people, the food, the architecture, it was all amazing. I just had to adjust to the currency because there are two like parallel currencies. They use the Khmer Riel and the US dollar. So you have to sort of figure that out. And I'm sure we'll have a video on that because that's an interesting topic. I think that's enough because I had to start the course, and so I went straight into a TESOL course. And then it was time for Kat to come join me. So I think we can kind of fast forward to when Kat arrived.
So, you know, I've taught, in the previous videos, talking about the emotional aspect of it after not seeing Josh for a while. But it was very, very interesting because as soon as I landed and I went out into the airport, and I'm a big like architecture person, and the airport was just absolutely unbelievable. And it's really wild because I felt this sense of calm. You know anything about my health journey and everything that was going on before I left the U.S., had a little bit on my plate, and it was very stressful and, affected my health negatively. And there is just this sense of calm, like I said, that I felt immediately upon walking out there, seeing Josh, of course. And then when we got in because we, like I said, I had a lot of leverage. So we had a car to bring us, which is not, normally we do a tuk-tuk, but you've probably seen those. But we had a car, and so just riding in it, I think it was a Prius, and just riding in it and seeing the buildings and the architecture as we're driving to the Airbnb, which is where we were staying initially, I just I don't know, this sense of being where I needed to be at that moment you don't feel like yourself. I mean, like you're with someone for a couple of decades, and you're there together all the time, mostly, and you're like, it was very unsettling, but then it was settling once we were back together. But I tell you, just looking around as we're driving, it's obvious that we're in a different country, but I did not feel out of place, and I felt like, because, I talk about the smile goes a long way. Looking out the car window, you stop next to someone like on a motorcycle or in a tuk-tuk, and you smile, and the smile you get back is like, it's genuine. And it's not a like, why is that person smiling at me? Like, because you get that in the U.S. a lot, and people are like, almost like, what's your problem? And which is wild, because, I'm a smiler, and, it's just, it was very different. And so I just felt like natural next step, and I did not feel uncomfortable. And we set things up where I would have like a little bit of time, like a little bit over a week before I started the course. And so, we settled down, and the night that the first meal, I tell you, like the food, like was like, okay, vegan, vegetarian, vegan, lots of veggies, lots of delicious fruit. You just have to remember to do your bottled water, because you do not drink the tap water, so do your bottled water. And I think and it wasn't the warmest part, but I think that the year, but I think that was probably my main thing. It was like, because well, maybe if you know, but for my people that are in the U.S. that know what I was like trying to decide on what to bring. And even the stuff I brought was too heavy. So I'm like wearing a lot of like spaghetti strap dresses a lot, and like little mini dresses and bloomers and things like that, and short skirts, which y'all know I wear them anyway. But the weight of things, that's my main thing, because super humid. So, you don't want to wear clothes. So I think that's the main thing. And I'm from Missouri, and Missouri, you get out of the shower and you're drenched. And this morning, Josh looked at me, he's like, oh, is that sweat? Because my arms were glistening, because I was like, I had a layer of sweat just all over my body. Sweat's dripping down my back. I had this on, and it was like, because it's just so humid right now. So I think that's like the main thing. So when we were settling in, like, what did you do, like, to just really like feel like we settled in like really quickly? Was it because I know you were talking about routine.
I'm a believer that having a routine is important. Finding a balance where you have a routine, but you're also being adventurous. And just being here is pretty adventurous. And like the fact that we're looking at starting not just a business, but multiple businesses, we have plenty of adventure. So I think so, and most people do. Most people's lives are, whether you want it or not, there's adventure, there's unexpected things happening. So I'm a big believer in having a positive routine. And for me, I'll just speak for myself, but having a coffee really first thing, getting up and having coffee. I do espresso typically. I do that. And before Kat got here, I was in a really kind of touristy part of town, but like a beautiful part of town called Riverside. So, and the espresso was so affordable. I was in this like really affordable hotel where I was like friends with the employees. They're so nice. And so I would get like my $1 espresso in a nice little mug and sip on it, like looking out over the street and the trees, go for a walk. So that's like my ideal morning routine, is having a little coffee and then going for a walk. And Southeast Asia has amazing coffee. So I think Vietnam might be the king of coffee here in the region, but Cambodia is pretty close. I really enjoy the coffee here. So
now I think that, well, as far as settling in, because Josh had been here for a little bit before, it allowed me to just kind of glide in and him to have things facilitated for me. In the Airbnb, it was definitely like different. We were trying to like get everything that I needed for being here, which there's a lot of things that for my hair, all the things that, having issue like finding. So those are some of the things that we may address as far as the business, because if it's needed, you know, that's a good thing, because there are a lot of people that look like me, that have hair like me, that need these products that are here. Once we once we moved from the Airbnb, which we did about a week after getting here, once we got to our regular spot, we started to immediately do like the whole routine thing where, you know, there's some people that say, you know, you just rise when you rise and you do your thing, like if it's a half an hour later, if it's an hour later, just doing that and then just doing what you need to do at that particular time. But it really helped me to like feel right at home, because we're like really, like we're coffee drinkers, and so we would like at the place that we're staying now, they have a rooftop garden, so we made it a point to go up, we'd order our coffees from Brown Coffee and Bakery, and we would go up, and Brown Coffee and Cafe, or is it Bakery? I forget.
I think it's bakery.
It's Bakery. Okay, so I was right. Go have a coffee on the rooftop, and then start our day, you know, so, you know, I do my course, or I'd have my coffee, and like, he'd order it and I'd go to my course, you know, but it was like that regular thing. And then we'd have like our cocktail in the evening, or like once we got here, we'd go we would go in the evening, we would go up to the rooftop garden. So we'd do in the morning and the evening. So those were kind of our regular things, because I would get out of class in time enough. And then we found a restaurant, Magnolia Veggie restaurant. I tell you, they did right by my stomach, and like helping me, like some people have traveler stomach, and like, you know, I had some stomach issues that I think was attributed to something else, which we'll talk about in a later video. But I tell you, we were going there Monday through Friday, and I know that it was good for me, because then when I stopped eating there and I was like trying some other things, I was having stomach issues again, and so
and going out to meals here, like. And that restaurant fits into this. Mm-hmm. It can be like even cheaper than making food at home. It's different from the Western part of the world, where you get amazing, it's insane. Like as one example, like you can get amazing like Khmer noodle dish with like fresh veggies. It might be $3.50, and that includes like bottomless, amazing iced tea and dessert.
Which I've covered it in our food post reviews. He's talking about Magnolia Veggie.
That's Magnolia.
And I took like a classmate of mine. We treated her to lunch one time, and she ended up going there with someone else, because she liked it, because it's definitely like you sit down.
And
they have fans. You know, you sit down. It's okay. Fans. You sit down and you can just sit there for a while and just enjoy your meal. It's a great price. They bring you, you know, the dessert and everything. We were doing that Monday through Friday. So it was like they knew like I had an hour, or sometimes less than an hour, because he'd let us out late and expect us back at the same time, which was anyway. But they knew I was coming. They knew I was on a time crunch, so they would have the menu. They would get us our food quickly. They would bring dessert, and a lot of times I would leave Josh and he'd eat the rest of my food. So I'd leave and I'd go back to class, and that is, we cannot, if you are here in Phnom Penh, and it's Phnom Penh is the area that it is in, if you want a great vegetarian restaurant, the Magnolia Veggie restaurant is amazing.
And even if you're not vegetarian or vegan, everybody tends to like it.
Seriously.
And be careful though, I think it's the same owner, but there's two that are close to each other. There's like, they're both called Magnolia. One is a Vietnamese restaurant, the other is called Magnolia Veggie. So the one that we go to is Magnolia Veggie. The other one's probably good, but we've never been there.
So I think because I know we're trying not to make this take too long, and I know that we've had a couple of comments in in our previous videos that were asking about e-visa and things like that. So we're definitely going to tackle that content very soon, because people have commented that. So we want to make sure that we're giving you guys what you're asking for. But we just wanted to do this whole settling in. We're kind of going in the natural progression of what we know that talking about documentation, all of that stuff, that those are going to warrant their own videos. And so individually, because sometimes it takes a little bit, and Josh is probably going to spearhead those because he did his and then helped me with mine. But we definitely will be covering that. But I think that just from you can probably weigh in, but for me, for settling in, it is making sure that you have a comfortable spot to land in, that you if the weather is an issue, that you stay hydrated, that you have a sense of regularity, some type of routine, whether or not it's like doing a little bit of exercise or having your coffee or having your cocktail or reading a book at night, whatever that makes you feel grounded in the spot that you're in are really important when you're settling into a new spot, because you're absorbing, like with the restaurant and things like, you're absorbing what's around you and you're acclimating and you're becoming, hopefully living like a local, which is what we like to do. You're doing that, but you have that sense of normalcy, things that you liked before that make you feel like your comfort level is about to
because it could be overwhelming. In our course, Kat and I took the same course, but at different times.
Mm-hmm.
So, and you learn about culture shock, and I agreed with what we learned there.
Mm-hmm.
It can be, it kind of is overwhelming with like the different language and the different climate, like Kat mentioned, but having a routine, it's like a reset button for me. Like I get up in the morning and I have that sip of coffee and I'm like, okay, it kind of relaxes me. It's familiar. And then it's just a good way to start the day. I think the morning routine, for me at least, is the most important. But then if I have that morning ritual and then like a lunch, because we also do intermittent fasting and we can talk about that at some point. So I don't eat until around noon. So having that noontime meal, that's a routine ritual, whatever you want to call it. And then a cocktail, like I like to have beer usually. Those are all, they kind of frame the day. And then you can have adventure, you're gonna have the good, the bad, and the ugly. Like in Cambodia, my experience is mostly the good as far as like just exciting experiences. But there's always like some drama, like some bad things are always going to happen too. So, but when you have that routine happening, then okay, something bad happened this morning, but now we're at our favorite restaurant for lunch, and all is right with the world suddenly.
I want to mention that we will definitely be doing in the videos as far as like being a Black woman coming into another country, and as far as like. It's different. Cambodia is different. Like you probably go to other countries and you can find the products that you need because it's just easily accessible. And so I may have a must-have bring with you. Like it's something like you're going to need something to bring with you because it's going to take a minute for you to find it, to be able to find it with whatever retailer or whatever, or maybe not even find it. Some things that you might want to keep in mind because you don't want to get here and be like me, because I'm just like, where do I get it? So I may have that also. So let us know because we will be tackling the visa. We'll be tackling what you should be bringing, things like that. Comment below on what you'd like what you'd like advice on, or something that you'd like to see us talk about that we've been experiencing. And there's so much more that we're going to bring in this content. So please comment, share all of that good stuff, and most of all, please subscribe. Okay, please subscribe. We really appreciate it. Thank you so much, and we'll see you soon.
Okay, bye-bye.
Bye.